Welcome back to Games That Do Not Suck with your host, King Jiffy Coates, and today we're going to be diving into the seedy, dark worlds of 1980s Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami is a game that's an acid trip mixed with like a 16-bit game. Now, for the most part, I'm not the biggest fan of the retro style indie game. I trash on it all the time. I hate them usually because most of the time they don't have a combat system. They feel like they're trying to emulate that style of game from back in the day. And to an extent, this game is. But you see, this game does something special. It brings the gore. And it brings a world that's gritty and dark and gross. And it like sends shivers up your spine. It's like somebody cut your skin open and put cockroaches up inside your body. It just gives you that vibe like you need to go take a shower, but not a shower with anybody else because you're too gross to touch another human. Because another human might get infected by the slime crawling over you. That is the world you're in. And there's something so captivating about the brutality and the horrors of this world. And it's just something that I never knew that could pull me into a game style that I am not a fan of. A game style that I have thoroughly crapped on throughout my entirety of playing games. I don't have a retro boner for old games. I don't have any nostalgia for the 16-bit, 32-bit, bit bullshit games. They're just not for me usually. But this game did something to me. And I think it boils down to the soundtrack and the gameplay. Now, I'm not a type of guy that where I listen to the soundtrack really deeply on games. I find that most of the time it's the gameplay that drives me through it, or the story that drives me through it. But this game's soundtrack is insane. It's got like that like robotic sound, like and it always fits whatever mood you're going through. Like if it's a slower one, it's like longer and it builds up the tension, and you're feeling really tense because you know the moment you die you have to restart from the beginning of that section and redo it all again and refigure out all of the patterns and what's going on. And the story of this game is kind of insane. Now, I don't like getting too into like this story too often. I mean, I'll give you the summary and stuff, but for the most part, you are a dude that kills people. I know, shocker. You can see in the gameplay, I just murder people. But the whole premise is you're in this seedy underground, and you get a little answer, a little message left on your old '80s tape playback thing, and it's like, you need to deliver a pizzas at blah blah blah, and you're like, all right, that means I gotta go fuck some people up, and oh my god, you just start obliterating people. The moment you start this game, it's like grab somebody and just bash their head into the ground, like brah, 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 and then you get up. And there's a really cool system in this game that like that each level starts off and you put on a different mask, and each mask is like, this mask, I punch people to death. This mask, I stab people. I start with a knife. This mask, when I open a door, instead of knocking somebody out, I freaking kill them, man. And blood. The blood in this game is so gory, and everything is like so like gritty. Like I said, it has this ability to almost make you feel like it's not the graphic system you think it is. Like, for example, when I shoot somebody in the face, right? I'm sitting at a corner, I'm looking around, somebody's coming across, I plow some bullets right through their head, and their head pops open. And even though it's incredibly pixelated, you almost feel like you can smell the brain tissue on the ground. I didn't know a 16-bit game could do that, or 8-bit, or whatever bit this game is, or is trying to emulate. And every single person that you have a interaction with, they got teeth missing, their beards are scraggly, their eyes are crazy. It is absolutely insane. And the further you progress in this game, I don't want to give too much away, but like early on, you're seeing dead bodies just places. It starts like almost messing with your head a little bit. It's a psychological thing going alongside your brutality throughout the whole thing, and you're trying to figure out what's real, what's not. It's an insane experience. I don't know how to describe the story of this game. That's another reason I don't want to get into it. It's just such an insane thrill ride of an experience. And not only that, the combat loop is just electrifying. I know I got into the gore, but that was more trying to lay the groundwork before I spoke about the gameplay. Like I said with the masks, each mission, whether you start this game over and you have all the masks or whatever, each mask makes the level play insanely different. Like, you'll go into an area, right? And you decide, okay, I know this place has a lot of dogs, so I'm gonna wear a dog mask so the dogs don't think I'm an enemy. Okay, then you know that you can't punch somebody to death, like if you were wearing the punch to death mask. So you have to realize what kind of mask you're putting on, what type of playstyle you're going in, and it has this almost build RPG build type energy to each level, which is really weird, but on a really baseline style of system. I don't know, it really worked for me. Not to mention that it did something to me almost bringing me back to elementary school. I don't know if you all were back in school and you were sitting there, your teacher wanted you to make a PowerPoint that you made it 15 goddamn times, and you're just sitting there letting the gears in your head just crank to a halt. You're getting so bored and so insanely like antsy, and you can't figure out what to do, and then you remember there's this place called Addicted Games. Yeah, I opened up a vault right into the back of your goddamn mind. Addicted Games, and you play like a game like Ricochet Kills or one of those games where you're running down shooting at angles. That is the essence of what this game shooting is. You can lock on, and there are points where you want to lock onto somebody's head and to swing into a door and kill them, but you shouldn't default on that. You should use that to pop the one guy, go around a corner, hit him at an angle, wait until they come through the angle, and just murder them like that. It is so insanely fun. It's almost like mapping each section out. It's like for example, you're going into a Dark Souls game and you're mapping out where these guys are going to be so you can move through them. Well, this game you have to kill them to beat the mission. You have to kill everybody. So you know that not only do you have to map out all their locations in your head, but you also have to figure out, okay, if I kill this guy's going to come through this door because he's going to be aggroed on me. Then I got to kill him, but I made too much noise, so I got 5 guys coming around the corner, which means I have to corner myself, angle my machine gun, pop, 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 pop. It is such a it's such an addicting loop that I get into this game. I'll play like 4 levels and I'll just be so hooked that I don't want to put it down until I hit a point that I'm like, all right, I've calmed down. I've got that urge to play the game done, and then I'll put it down for a bit. And that's one fantastic thing about this game. It's something you can always come back to. It's one of those things that I have a few games that I do this with, such as Red Dead Redemption 2. I haven't actually finished Red Dead Redemption 2 because I only play a couple levels and then I come back to it because I love the game so much, and I find the loop in the story so entertaining that I can keep coming back, know exactly where I am, and slowly progress through the story. And the same things with this game. I play a ton of games for this channel. I'm working on a Xbox original content. I'm working on games that do not suck content, and between those, I get a little burnt out on playing a game, as many games as I do. So I want a game that I can come back, turn my mind off to an extent. I mean, yes, you use a lot of your mind to play this game, but you also hit a rhythm. You hit like a good flow and start moving through the game, and it just calms you to an extent. It's really weird because your brain's engaging, but you're calm and you're wanting the challenge, and it's something to break me away from whatever story game I'm in or whatever like RPG I'm in or old Xbox game. I can come to this game, play a couple levels, decompress, then go play whatever game I'm playing. I find it really exhilarating because game burnout is real. It really is real. But this game has really helped me with that. Another thing is, this game actually does boss fights incredibly well. Now, I'm not going to ruin anything because I didn't even put boss fight gameplay in the background of this because I didn't want to show it off. It's something that I was really worried about when I found out this game did have boss fights from a friend. That when I first got into a boss arena, I was really worried. I was like, okay, I get this weapon, I'll toss it at him, and then I'll beat his head in the ground. Game over, right? No, you have to figure out different patterns. The dude's fast, blah blah blah. It's just really exhilarating. Even something as simple as a one-on-one boss fight turns into this circus act of movement and figuring out patterns and how to outmaneuver the AI and the right abilities. And I can't gush enough about this game. This game has everything I would want in a game like this, except for there is nothing like this. I've never played anything like this. This game is truly a hidden gem if there has ever been one. And that's about like the best thing I could say about it. It's truly a game I think everyone should play at least once to go through a few levels to figure out if you like this loop or not. I don't know, but that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you think. Have you played Hotline Miami? Are you gonna play Hotline Miami? And subscribe to my channel, you goddamn idiots.